CII Broadcasting presents Legends of a Black Flag, produced and directed by Imran Ismail. Hazrat Abu Darda radiyallahu anh reports that the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said that Dawood alayhi salam used to make this dua: Allahumma inni as'aluka hubbak wa hubba man yuhibbuk wal amal alladhi yuballighuni hubbak. O Allah, I ask you for your love and the love of that person who loves you, and of those actions which attract your love. The stories of the pious ignite the love of Allah and the love of those whose hearts were aflame with His love. We revive their stories to light the spark of Iman within us. Every episode has been based on true life events. This series is dedicated to all those that did and will live their lives for a higher purpose. Extra care was taken to ensure that this series was created within the parameters of the pleasure of Allah. May Allah accept it and forgive our weaknesses. Ameen. Legends of a Black Flag is a CII broadcasting drama produced and directed by Imran Ismail.
When Maulvi Talha said that there is a spy, some of the guys turned to look at me. I thought, khalas, these people are going to put me away for talking bad about their ustad. You know what diehards you are.
Hey you, actually Mulana Mahmud al-Hassan knew that there were spies planted here on the ship.
I see, even the Turkish hold him in high regard. They were here sharp to arrest the spies. So where's Sheikh al-Hind at the moment?
He's gone to Taif for discussions with the governor of Hijaz, who has offered him his full support for the jihad in India.
So why are we headed to Yemen?
We're going to see fabric specialists, and then we're going to Taif to join them there. You see this flag? It was made in Yemen, but it's so ancient now that it needs restoration. The specialists know techniques of preserving fabric in Yemen.
Just buy another flag. Why go through so much trouble?
Oh no, this is a very, very special flag. The flag of the army of Imam Mahdi will carry black threads made of Yemeni cloth. The hope of the man who made this was that it be used to always fight on the side of Haqq. It represents determination in the face of all odds.
The British were determined to cut the Turkish off at the knees, and T. Lawrence, despite all his stirring speeches, didn't manage to get the ordinary citizens of Arabia interested in fighting their rulers, the Turks. So they decided to play nasty, as only the malicious, inhuman colonialists could do. They bought off the Sheriff of Mecca, and he joined forces with the British and attacked Taif. And because of this, Maulana Ziyad and Samir could not get to Maulana Mahmud al-Hassan, who was in Taif.
British dogs? How can they shoot at the masjid?
They are non-Muslim. They don't understand the sacredness of the masjid. But what about the Arabs shooting at the masjid? Astaghfirullah. I hope no one gets killed.
Yesterday I asked the shopkeeper why he was crying. He said his son was in the Masjid Abbasi and that the British soldiers placed cannons surrounding Taif and began bombarding the city. His son is a Hafiz and is leading the Taraweeh. He said he managed to smuggle a letter out to him and that he had to read short surahs like Alam Tara due to fear. Ramadan passed like this.
It is narrated in Muslim, to abuse a Muslim is a great sin, and to fight war with him is infidelity.
I wonder if I will get a chance to use this flag soon. It is said that the Middle East will all be in turmoil near the time of Mahdi. And look, Syria, Palestine, Egypt are all being crushed by the British. And it looks like our Haramain are in danger too.
the cold-blooded British cut off food supplies to Hijaz, Arabia. Their navy destroyed ships carrying grain. Food was confiscated, and Medina Munawwara, beloved city of ours, was besieged for 2 years. Railway tracks to the city were dynamited, and transport routes were blocked. People began to starve to death in the thousands. Things reached such an unspeakable state that some were forced to eat their dead just to survive. The cruelty of the power-mad British dogs knew no bounds. Who ordered these barbaric atrocities of starving the innocent of Medina? It was the British royal family, the same one who we are so enchanted with that we follow their movements in the media, and that thousands of Muslims were glued to the TV on Jummah Day, watching the wedding of a useless prince and his weighty Katie. Ah, Muslims, what have we become?
Maulvi Ziyad, have you heard what happened? The British ordered the Sheriff of Mecca to get the ulama to sign a fatwa of kufr against the Turks, so that a Muslim of Hijaz would fight them, as a non-Muslim cannot be accepted as a Khalif.
Did they sign it?
The ulama in the Sheriff's pocket signed it, and then they gave it to Mulana Mahmud al-Hassan. He refused to sign it, and he called the Sheriff a rebel and a Khariji.
It is reported by Abu Sa'id Khudri radiyallahu an, the best jihad is to speak the truth before a tyrant ruler.
The Sheriff went ballistic when he heard this, and there is a warrant out for his arrest.
And where is Mulana Husni Ahmad Madani?
They locked him up in jail.
Ma'azallah. Let's go immediately to Mecca so we can be of help if possible.
Some prominent Indian businessmen went to intercede on Maulana Mahmud al-Hassan's behalf, but the reply of the Sheriff of Mecca was,
"Our friendship with the British government is new. We need to preserve and strengthen this power. We will not do anything that will harm it. We will not do anything that will harm it."
And so the wretched, unequal love affair with Western power began. Muslims would be sold by their own, and still are being sold in order to kiss the shoes of the West. Maulana Ziyad was taken to British custody.
المسلم من سلم المسلمون من لسانه ويده. Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, a Muslim is the one from whom other Muslims are safe from his tongue and hand.
Say you accept the Sheriff as your Khalifa.
Never! I'll never accept that one that sold his Muslim brothers.
Take a break, Smith. Bring him to the table. Sit.
I can't.
Why not?
My legs. The flesh is raw from the whipping.
Don't you wish your Mahmud al-Hassan was in your place?
Never. You will never understand the love a student of Deen has for his or her teacher, that he cannot tolerate any harm coming to him.
You're right about that. Look at Hussein Ahmed Madani. We don't have any charges against him, but he requested us to send him to Malta with Mahmud al-Hassan, his teacher. What craziness is that?
That is what you call loving someone only for Allah.
Allahumma inni as'aluka hubbak wa hubba man yuhibbuk wal amal alladhi yuballighuni hubbak. O Allah, I ask you for your love and the love of that person who loves you, and of those actions which attract your love.
Tell me, when last did you visit your varsity lecturer or school teacher?
I haven't seen him since I graduated. Why should I go and see him?
That is the difference between your education system and ours. A teacher of Deen worries about the pupil even after they have gone home and even after they graduate. And the pupil has love and immense respect for the teacher. And even after graduation, he longs to be one more time in the lesson of that teacher. Maulana Madani is a genuine pupil of Deen. Allah will honor him for his faithfulness.
Even in the modern era, those who pursue ilm will give their lives for their asatiza and muallimat, and this teacher-student bond is exclusive to those who impart and learn the knowledge of Islam, because the object of such knowledge is the love of Allah, and only those who sit in the garden of ilm can understand this.
Someone to see you.
Samir, assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam. What a relief to see you. They only gave me 5 minutes, so I'll be quick. Are you okay?
Alhamdulillah, I am.
We heard rumors that they are putting you through horrific torture.
Alif Lam Mim. Do people think that they will be left alone because they say, we believe, and will not be tested?
Truly, you're a fruit of the tree of Mulana Qasim Nanotwi and Mulana Rashid Gangwai. Protests are being organized all over India for your release, especially marches outside the British Embassy and consulates. All the participating men, women and even children.
Tell me, is Parda being observed in these protests?
Partitions are put up, but sometimes there are so many ladies that we had to remove the screens.
Wa na'udhu billah, another woman marching too?
A handful of them, but they are hijabis.
My heart is breaking.
But Maulvi, you should be happy that the people are supporting you.
How can there be any barakat in something where the order of Allah and Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam is broken? Do you know what is the sacredness of Parda? Do you know that nations were destroyed because they made excuses for the intermingling of men and women?
To tell you the truth, I was a bit uncomfortable because your cousin Begum Sanya stood up to speak and some men were looking at her.
She isn't educated in deen, so I can excuse her. But I cannot excuse the learned and pious who didn't take the steps to make sure that deen was not trampled for the sake of the end of my torture. Who will stand up for the safety of the commands of my Nabi? Ya Allah, who will understand the slave's pain is more over your laws being broken than what I have to endure in this rat-infested hellhole.
Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, لا يؤمن أحدكم حتى أكون أحب إليه من والده وولده والناس أجمعين. None of you will have iman till he loves me more than he loves his father, his children, and all mankind.
Samir, this is why ilm is important. But if it doesn't bring you love for the commands of Allah, then it is useless. Thank the people on behalf. I appreciate their efforts and ask the ladies not to march in public. My Nabi would have never liked that. It is better that they make dua for me from home or read Quran for me, and that would be far more effective. Don't let emotions rule our judgment.
And so it did happen. Maulana Ziyad, whose commitment to Allah and Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam would not allow Sharia to be broken in his name, 5 years later, just after Shaykh al-Hind, Maulana Mahmud al-Hassan and his student Maulana Madani were released from the prison of Malta. The masses were overjoyed at having Shaykh al-Hind back, and he was welcomed by Muslims and Hindu alike. But the joy of reunion was short-lived.
When our teachers were released from Malta, and then you, I felt like it was an amplified Eid. And now Shaykh al-Hind, Mahmud al-Hassan, and our beloved Mujahid has gone forever.
Do you know that when people made ghusl of his body, they were shocked to find no flesh on his waist? They asked Maulana Madani about it, and he cried. He wept and said that Shaykh al-Hind had prevented him from telling anyone. In the jail of Malta, the British used to take Shaykh al-Hind to a room and apply a red-hot rod to his waist and say, Mahmud al-Hassan, deliver a fatwa in favor of the British. When he regained his senses, he would say, "O British, I am Bilal's heir. My skin may melt away, but I shall never deliver a fatwa in favor of the British.
Maulana Madani was accepted as the leader after the demise of his teacher Sheikh al-Hind. He took up the challenge brilliantly and excelled in preserving deen through teaching, preaching, and efforts of jihad. But there was a new challenge. There were some who were calling for a totally separate homeland for the Muslims, a partition.
Who are you? I'm Muhammad Shurey, the son of Maulvi Ziyad. I wrote to you.
Welcome, welcome. Come inside, bhai. Allah have mercy on your father's soul. He was a walking shaheed.
Ameen. It makes me nervous though. Being the son of such a great man, I wonder if I could ever match up.
Don't worry, beta, about matching up to him. Try to impress Allah in your own right. You will do fine, inshallah. What is it that you had for me, Muhammad Shurey?
My father wrote you a letter before he passed away. He wanted to accompany Maulana Madani, who was going all over encouraging the Muslims not to kill or harm the Hindus as happened in Lahore and Amritsar. Thousands were massacred on both sides.
Injustice and Islam can never exist in one heart, so that we are not controlled by our emotions, beta.
And so the state of Pakistan was created. And soon the India which existed in the times of Mughals, from Afghanistan to Pakistan, to Bangladesh to Uzbekistan, was no more. After years of relentless efforts, imprisonment, torture, destruction, the blood of millions shed, the indomitable spirit of the brave did not falter. The Quit India movement paid off, and at long last, the English dogs left the shores of India forever in 1366 AH. This was 2 years after World War II had ended. The reign of Britain as a superpower had ended. There was a new bully arising on the global scene.
Well, Smith, it was good of you to accept the job offer here in America. But remember, we play the game differently. You English did the groundwork for us. We're not gonna waste our men and resources like you. People will rise up to resist colonialism and slavery because they know they can fight it. Look at how they brought the British Empire down.
So what's your great plan, Hoover?
We will enslave their minds, their hearts, their dreams, their children, without them even knowing it. We will weaken their beliefs and morals till they are too spiritually weak to be motivated to fight us. In fact, they will accept us wholeheartedly in a few years.
I'm impressed. But how?
You acceded to a great extent, but you had resistance from the intelligent and the holy. We will succeed because we have a secret weapon which no one will resist.
Humaid and Ahmed, remember that although I won't be there to watch you all, Allah is watching even when you think you are alone. Please behave as carriers of the Quran.
We will, Abba, don't worry.
Gee, Abba, give Ammi and Aisha this present.
I'm sure they will love this present. Where's Humaid?
Humaid! Ao! Abba bularao!
Sorry, I went to buy water. Yo, it's boiling hot today.
The train is going to leave any minute. Humaid, you know how appealing a glass of cold ice water is on a hot day?
Extremely. I'll take it over money any day.
The same way that we will crave that glass of refreshing cool water, we should crave the love of Allah. Ahmed, what is the dua that we will create the love of Allah in our hearts?
Allahumma inni as'aluka hubbak وحب من يحبك والعمل الذي يبلغنا حبك. O Allah, I ask you for your love and the love of that person who loves you and those actions which attract your love.
Now, do you understand this dua? Wherever you are, keep company with those who love Allah and Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam and try their best to follow their sunnah.
The words of my father will always stay with me, inshallah. When we landed in Bombay, there was a huge crowd. Being a curious type, I found a man who looked stricken, standing in the corner as he gazed at the crowd. So I went to ask him what was happening and why he looked so traumatized.
Umaid Bhai, who was that?
Shoo! I just was on the receiving end of a famous actor's nervous breakdown. The crowd were watching his scene being filmed and no one even looked at this guy who passed his prime. I was just thinking, look at how the pious are respected by us, alive or deceased. Shah Anwar Kashmiri, Khwaja Nizamuddin Chishti, Shaykh al-Islam, Shahid Ismail, Imam Bukhari, Na Madani, Na Ilyas Khan Delvi, Na Ashraf Ali Tanwi, and so many others. As they got older, the people's love and respect increased for them. Whereas when a celebrity is adored, as they get older, people became disinclined to them.
This was exactly what Hoover was describing to his colleague. The secret weapon that will make people walk into slavery smilingly. The television and the film world.
Via the television. We don't even have to tell anybody to dress like this, act like that, believe this. They automatically will, eventually, just by regular viewing. No time will be had for family conversations and bonding. Society will weaken as a result, and when society is weak, then the government can do as we wish, and very few will protest.
Excellent! You can bring music and dancing into the homes of even those who will never listen to music until it will stop seeming wrong to them.
They will worship actors and actresses and will ape them. Music and sport will become an obsession and a priority. What is not important will seem like an ultimate goal. We cannot achieve the state of slavery without the television.
How much easier would it have been for us had we had technology in our ears? With the TV, you'll be able to fill their minds with utter junk until they will defend having a TV. Their hearts will be dead.
And how we love The Walking Dead.
Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, the difference between the one who remembers his Lord and the one who does not is like the difference between the living and the dead.
I was at this time in the possession of Muhammad Shurai's daughter, Aisha Bibi. Her mother was looking at her worriedly. That night, Aisha took a turn for the worse. Her mother sat holding her with tears falling like cascading pearls on her daughter. It is the system of Allah that any act a Muslim does with ikhlas has an impact. We might not see it, but somewhere, someone is affected by it in a good way. A single girl who passes away while she is chaste, Allah will marry her to a martyr in Jannah, and their walima will be held in the most beautiful gardens of paradise. A walima that will reduce the most expensive one of this world to looking like a beggar's crumb. Never let us be deceived by the kafir concepts of success. After a few months away, both Humaid and Ahmed returned home in Safar 1380 AH. Humaid decided to settle in South Africa while Ahmed remained with his parents.
I miss my sister. The house is not the same without her. I will come visit as often as possible. My game plan is to work for this family in Fordsburg, save up for my own business, and after that...
Beta, while you're building your dunya, build your akhirat too. When you are saving up for your own business, save some for donating towards running a maktab.
A madrasa for children.
Gee, the maktab is the backbone of an Islamic community. Wherever the enemies of Deen wanted to wipe out Islam, they started by restricting the hours of maktab may run. Look at Russia, and then they shut it down completely.
It's worrying actually. Very few know how to read the Quran. Women just dress traditional, but would see through flimsy scarves, hardly any huffaz, and no darul ulooms or their own ulama. There are masajids, but they're empty because most are busy trying to make an earning.
Have they integrated with the local community?
Hardly at all. They treat them very pathetically. Also surprisingly, the Muslims in South Africa hold onto a lot of Hindu practices.
Astaghfirullah. Like what?
They have engagements, sharbats, and exchange kunchas, just like the Hindus. And they give the girl a gold chain after the girl and boy get proposed. It's like a must. I was shocked. 1 foot in the mandir and 1 foot in the masjid.
And Allah did make a man emerge from South Africa who went for Hajj and met people who had the burning desire to revive the dying sparks of Iman amongst the masses. This man's name was Haji Bhai Parya Rahmatullah Alayh. Against much resistance, he carried on determinedly preaching to the people about turning their attention to Allah. And slowly, there was an Islamic awakening. He also encouraged many parents to send their sons to study Deen, as the country needed ulama. These boys went to Darul Uloom Deoband and its offshoots.
Sheikh Abul Fatah Abu Ghudda, the great Syrian scholar, said regarding Darul Uloom Deoband, "The madrasa of Deoband is like a radiant sun that has illuminated various parts of India. It revived the Sunnah academically and practically. It became a powerful, great and authentic source of light from which came droves of God-fearing ulama who combined the excellence of knowledge and action while adhering to the Sunnah and eliminating bid'ah." And so, from the offshoots of Darul Uloom Deoband came scholars who would turn the South African Muslim community into a thriving, vibrant one. Alhamdulillah.
But ignoring deliberately and forgetting the commandments of the Almighty Allah Ta'ala, knowing them, this is very, very serious, dear friends. Very, very serious. And millions of Muslims are also involved in this today, dear friends.
Ya Jalilu, Ya Allah, Ya Karimu, Ya Allah, Ya Raqibu, Ya Allah, Ya Mujibu, Ya Allah, Ya Wasi'u, Ya Allah, Ya Hakimu, Ya Allah, Ya Wadudu, Ya Allah.
The one who did not worry and or bother about the orders of Allah, about the deen of Allah, on that day he will say to Allah, that take my wife, take my children, take my family, take all my wealth, take all my possessions, take everything that I owned, take the whole world, and take every human being that was on this world, take everything and put them all into Jahannam. But Ya Allah, save me from Jahannam.
Ay mere data, ay mere malik, ay mere maula, ay mere wali. Shahan shahidu alam tu hai, sabse teri sarkar hai ali.
Allah said, those people, if we make them leaders, we make them rulers, we put them in charge, then what would they do with dominion, power, kingdom and empire? أقاموا الصلاة وآتوا الزكاة وأمروا بالمعروف ونهوا عن المنكر. They will capitalize on their fame. They will seize the opportunity of authority and bring the creation closer to the Creator.
The 2 rakats before Fajr, that sunnat mu'akkada before Fajr, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam mentioned, it is better than the entire world and its contents.
The male proposed to ABC lady Zainab, Fatima, Jamila, whoever. She refused and rejected his proposal. Now he still wants to keep contact by phone or SMS or BBM or whatever. All this is haram. Quran Kareem says, "Wala taqrabu zina." Don't even go near fornication and adultery.
The trees are saying Allah, the plants are saying Allah, the insects are saying Allah, the birds are saying Allah, the animals are saying Allah, the jinn are saying Allah, the angels saying Allah, man is saying Allah, every hair on the believer's body is saying Allah, 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 Jalla Jalaluhu wa Ta'ala Sha'nuhu.
And from the ulama who return home were those who established madrasas and Darul Ulums amongst many other sterling services of deen. At one of these madrasas, the granddaughter of Humayd, Sumaya, was sitting in the lessons of her teacher, Apa Rabia, in the year 1403 AH.
Al-mar'u ma'a man ahabba. Sumaya, repeat this.
Al-mar'u ma'a man ahabba.
A person will be with the one whom he loves. Write it down. Did all of you make wudu before coming to class?
Ji, Apa.
MashaAllah. The more respect we have for the Quran and Hadith, the more it will affect our hearts. Right. So just in this dunya, as we hang around with people whom we like, or we wish we could hang around with a certain clique, in the same way, on the day of Qiyamah, we will be with those people whom we adored.
If we love Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam,
then we will be near the Nabi of Allah sallallahu alayhi wasallam on the day of Qiyamah. And if it was the celebrities that we liked, then we will be with them, na'uzu billah. That is why we should keep the company of the pious to combat this inclination.
But where's pious people to keep company with? None of my friends are pious.
Look for those who are trying their best to keep close to the Sunnah. And if you still can't find them, then I've heard from my ustad that reading a book of the pious or listening to a bayan will be recorded for you as if you were in their company.
But Apa, I can't read kitabs and listen to bayans all the time.
Who's there?
Adila.
Sumaya, open the door.
Assalamu alaikum. I came to get the Mishkat notes, Apa Rabia.
Here we go, Apa Adila. But before you leave, Sumaya has a question for you. Sumaya, ask Apa your question.
Apa, we're supposed to be in good company. But I can't read kitabs and listen to bayans all the time. And none of my friends are pious.
Then you be the pious friend. It's easy to be in seclusion and practice deen, but the real jihad is to live amongst people and hold fast to deen. Do everything. Eat, sleep, laugh, joke, talk. Go out to good places. But don't sin. That's all. And you'll be the buzruk of the time.
A dua to help you to do this is: Allahumma inni as'aluka hubbak wa hubba may yuhibbuk wal amal alladhi yuhibbuk. Allahumma ij'al hubbaka ahabba ilayya min nafsi wa ahli wa min al-ma'il barid. Oh Allah, I ask you for your love and the love of that person who loves you, and of those actions which attract your love. Oh Allah, make your love more beloved to me than myself, my family, friends, and cold water. Okay, class, Chutti, class is over. Tomorrow is Mutala of Riyadus Salihin, Kitabul Fadail. And listen, I don't want to hear about how your plumber had a heart attack so that you could not make wudu to sit and learn because there was no water.
جاوز واندفع مسكين وإشارة قطع مسكين جاوز واندفع مسكين وإشارة قطع مسكين مسكين مسكين
Many years later, Sumaya came to visit her teachers.
Apa Rabia, give me some advice.
Students don't respect their mu'allimat today. Do you know that? Why? Because a teacher of deen must spend more time worrying about imparting ilm, revising it and practicing it, and spend less time dressing up looking like a shirkiya model. Be neat, but not fancy. Simplicity was the elegance of the Prophet of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. When you cling to the Sunnah, Allah will fill the hearts of people with respect for you.
Are you going now, Sumaya?
Gee, I have to drop my dada off at the airport. He's leaving for 40 days in Brazil.
Before you leave, may I say, Mashallah, you have beautiful feet, Sumaya. If only it was covered like the rest of you. A lady in true hijab makes sure that she doesn't wear attractive sandals to draw the eye to the only part of her that is exposed. Is this not against parda, Bachu?
You are very quiet, Sumaya.
I'm just doing some thinking. Remember, Dada, how you used to scold us for wearing perfume and leaving the house?
Gee, because a lady whose perfume is smelled by a Gair Mahram man will be 500 years away from the distance of Jannah.
I knew that narration, but I never took heed. I thought you were just being a fussy old India man.
India man? If I never left India, you'd be an India girl too. It's funny how people forget their roots. But if I don't come back from Brazil, I want you to give my black flag to your father. He is most deserving from all the children because he is very particular about halal and haram and is very charitable.
Humaid landed in Brazil, and after a couple of days of going door to door, inviting people to make deen practical in their lives and to be conscious of Allah, one day, while walking, a man stopped them.
Oh, you speak English? Yes, yes. We are Muslims. We have an alim with us who knows Arabic.
My great-great-grandfather, he Arab. Many Arabs came to Brazil 90 years ago, but we lost Islam. We become just like Brazilianos. Not know talk Arabic. We eat the pork, drink the wine, music everywhere. We don't know that you say Muslim don't do. What you call it? Haram? I got one letter. My great-great-grandfather passed down. It in Arabic. Please tell me what you say. I go home and get it.
Maulana Ihsan, why are you crying? What does the letter say?
It says this brother here, Siddiq, is from the family of Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu. He's a descendant of the closest companion of Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam.
Allah lit the spark of Iman through this small group. Deen doesn't belong to those whose ancestors had it, but to those who practice it in their lifetime. A few more Jamaats were sent to Brazil, and as the people began responding to the call to turn their attention from a temporary world to an eternal world, they sent their sons and daughters to study Islam. They imported ulama, and that is how a few maktabs and madrasas got established. And so is the case all over the world, that the flames of concern of a few hearts can light up an entire nation. It was now the year 1433 AH, or as the Gregorian calendar puts it, 2012. I was in the hands of Sumayya's son Zakir. He was deciding who to give it to.
Which one of them is deserving of this? Let me start with my eldest, Zahir.
Come now, Zahra, make it fast. I got an appointment with the guys who can break a deal for us on the property we're looking at. I need to get some figures sorted before the meeting. Yeah, I don't care if it's the night before Eid. Who's paying for all these things you bought for Eid?
If only he wasn't chasing the world all the time, at the cost of his family, character, and most importantly, deen. We're not going to take a cent with us to the cover. My next one, Fahim.
Daddy, I'm going now, ne? Fazila has to go for tuition. And Tahir has a school function we have to go to later. You know how tired the kids get when they're fasting and keeping roza.
And what about madrasa?
Oh, they will just keep madrasa this week and go next week. Oh, no, not next week. We have a dentist appointment next week.
If only he knew what destruction he's causing. After his death, all the tuition in the world will not benefit him one bit. If only he gave Dini education top priority, his children will be an asset to him in both lives. My third child, Farhan.
Salams, I'm going to play soccer. See you guys later.
A really good boy, but with an addiction to sport that has killed ambitions to strive in the service of Deen. If only he played it for the recreation and not as a consuming pastime. Every single night of Ramadan he wasted in playing soccer after Taraweeh. Ya Allah, if only he exerted himself in ibadat like how he does in soccer. Maybe my youngest, Fazila. Fazila? How was your day, Bachu?
It was okay.
Have you finished your Quran Khatam?
Yeah.
Did you notice the moon fall through the roof?
Yeah.
She is so addicted to that phone. Sometimes I don't even see her face for days because it is always downwards facing the phone. Who is she chatting to? And what is so important on that phone that she has forgotten how to love without it? Either we own our own gadgets or they own us. Not a single child of mine is worthy of his flag. Who shall I give it to? Who?
Uncle Zakir? Come in.
No, don't worry. Why don't you come outside for a while? I want to talk to you.
Sure, no problem. Let me just tell my ma and grab a jacket. It's a bit cold.
How was your business management paper, Zubair?
Shukar, alhamdulillah. It wasn't too bad.
You're not going to the braai with the boys?
No. It's the last 10 nights. I'll give it a miss. I can always go some other time. Hey, I really need to push my Quran khatam.
So what are you doing this weekend?
We're having iftar with some other students and getting someone to come talk to us. Then we'll play cricket after Taraweeh, but I'll dodge that. I have 11 months to play.
I like this attitude of yours, Zubair. I still remember when you were a kid and we used to have birthday parties for my kids. You never used to come.
But not that I didn't make a big fuss about that. I used to think my parents were just being party poopers. You know, but as I grew older, I realized why my parents stopped me. It's a Christian practice, and we have accepted it so wholeheartedly. Like, you know, there's nothing wrong with it. We don't even think that it is haram.
Subhanallah, so true. Now when I object to birthday parties, none of them want to listen. They think that I'm being rude when I don't phone to wish them happy birthday. Even the Dini people who are caught up in this happy birthday nonsense.
Ish, I'm tuning you. Hey, what's that, Uncle Zakir?
It's a flag and a letter. I want you to read it.
This flag was given to me by my father in the hopes that one day his efforts too will be a part of the army of Imam Mahdi, who will fight against Dajjal, the blatant enemy of Allah. My child, the culture of Dajjal will come long before him. That is why people will fall in his trap so fast. The culture of Dajjal is music, lies, whether written or said, dancing, alcohol and drugs, negligence of the hereafter, pursuing the world constantly, and disrespect for the ulama. If you stay away from all of this, inshallah, you will be a pride to me in both lives. A time will come when the knowledge of deen will be considered insignificant, and knowledge of dunya will be considered a route to success. Do not be from amongst the latter, my son. But along with ilm, you must have good akhlaq, and continue checking the condition of your heart. Have no hatred in your heart for any Muslim. Keep asking Allah for His love and the love of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and serve Allah through every avenue you can, and keep company of people who fear and love Allah. They will influence you too.
اللهم إني أسألك حبك وحب من يحبك والعمل الذي يحبك. اللهم اجعل حبك أحب إلي من نفسه وأهله ومن الماء البارد. Oh Allah, I ask you for your love and the love of that person who loves you, and of those actions which attract your love. O Allah, make your love more beloved to me than myself, and my family, and than cold water.
So that's the story as far as I know. If only this flag could talk. Imagine what it could tell us, Zubair. I want you to have this flag because you have kept yourself away from the fitna of the time. Dissing the ulama, I have never heard you join in when people bash the ulama, nor do you forward any emails about them.
Gee.
MashaAllah. Every ocean must have its waves. The ulama too have their differences, and some are a far cry from our pious predecessors. Our job is to keep silent because we are the lay people, and to make dua for ourselves and our leaders.
Gee, I will, inshallah, Uncle Zakir.
You always speak to your parents, and you believe in the year after. For those three qualities alone, you are worthy of carrying this flag.
But everyone believes in a year after. I mean, all Muslims do.
No, we don't. If we did, would we engage in haram? Would we treat people anyhow? Would we only run behind worldly success and our own fun? You have a great balance in your life, Zubair. May Allah take you far in both lives. If every person had to take just one page out of your life and turn the tide against disrespect for the ulama, and have pride in being a Muslim and dressing like a Muslim, wallah, it will turn the tide for Islam. You will become a saint, and when you color your mind with the love and fear of Allah.
It was the desire to remain on the right track that kept each owner motivated to go on, despite all obstacles.
The entire Muslim world is burning, Zubair. I hope you, having this flag and letter, will inspire you to become the Salahuddin and Sheikh al-Hind of your generation. Go the extra mile. Remember this, in a world where everyone wants fame and recognition, everyone wants their status to be wittier, funnier, and their pictures to look more appealing to the eye. There is a disappointment in that, but if you want Allah's approval alone, you will never be disappointed.
Jazakallah, Uncle Zakir, for having this confidence in me, in thinking that I can be deserving of such a symbol of the unending love of Allah. I will make a change, inshallah. I will make a difference, starting with me.
Allahumma inni as'aluka hubbak wa hubba may yuhibbuk wal amal al-lazzi yuballighuna hubbak.
Allahumma inni as'aluka hubbak wa hubba may yuhibbuk.
I had witnessed the winds of time change. Many hands had held me, but I was not important. It was the spirit that Allah inspired, which any Muslim, anywhere, can light up within. The spirit of remaining a rock of steadfastness to Allah and Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The ocean might even turn into a tsunami that will wipe out everything in its path, but that rock will never ever budge. In a world gone mad with trying to impress everyone, we should try to impress Allah alone, the only one who is there for us at every moment. Hold on to the rope of Allah and the practice of our Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and everything else will fall into place like pieces of a puzzle. O Allah, let us all live our year that is coming like every day is Ramadan, so that the day we meet you will be an Eid. Ameen.
O Allah, accept our efforts, grant us sincerity, and forgive our shortcomings. We would like to express our heartfelt gratitude to our parents and family whose immense sacrifices and support made doing this series possible, to the ulama and the righteous who remain a shade for us, to our friends and well-wishers, and all those who made dua for us. to those who assisted in the research of the series, especially friends of Deoband.com, to CII, whose platform brought to light the glorious history of our predecessors, and to the wonderful listeners. Jazakallah. All praise is due to Allah, who sent Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam as a perfect guide to a remarkable life. O Allah, let us follow in the footsteps of our pious predecessors who loved you and Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam over and above everything else. All praise is due to you on the completion of this series, without whom even a leaf may not fall. وآخر دعوانا عن الحمد لله رب العالمين. Legends of a Black Flag is a production of CII Broadcasting and podcast in CIIBroadcasting.com. CII thanks the entire cast